Go to the AL West, which should be very, very competitive this year. Let's get the A's out of the way first. And I understand that they've broken up the team some. They deserve a complete mulligan. They got to get that ballpark straightened out. Who knows where they're going to end up? You can make an argument they're better off in Vegas or another city. We'll see if, in fact, they can get a new stadium built. I'm not sure what the latest is. It's been delayed forever. But as far as the team is concerned and making some changes, you cannot get on them whatsoever. They've been very, very competitive for a long period of time. Last year, they were competitive. They won 86 games, finished in third place. Let the manager go. They made some trades, of course, with Chapman and Olsen. They refurbished their farm system and replenished it. And Billy Beane deserves all the credit for knowing how to put together a ball club. So from that perspective, I don't have any problem with what Oakland's doing. They're going to be a last-place team. They'll be feisty. They'll be competitive. They always got a little chip on their shoulder. And they will be, a feisty ball club in September, knocking some people out and, playing spoiler. But, they're not going to win this division. Or they're not going to necessarily be in the top 2 or 3, no matter what spin they try to give you here in these next couple weeks. Same thing goes for Texas. Now, Texas has improved. Obviously, they better be. They spent $600 million on 2 free agents in Seager and Simeon. They'll be a much better offensive team. They still have absolutely no pitching, and you're not going to win without any starters. Listen, Seager down the road, Simeon down the road. Simeon down the road. Obviously, they're in a situation right now where they're building for the future, and eventually they'll get to be good again. Texas was a good franchise about a decade ago. They went to 2 World Series, and they very well could have won both of them, especially the second one when St. Louis beat them. But, listen, the Rangers, farm system, ballpark, they have money. Obviously, the moves they made are going to help their offense. They have no pitching. So if you have no pitching, although you're not going to lose probably 100 games again, you're not going to be in a pennant race. So we're going to put the Rangers in 4th, which leaves us the 3-team race with Houston, Seattle, and the Angels. I'm going to put Houston still at number 1. And yes, I know McCullers still not ready. Who knows when we're going to see him again? Yes, I understand Correa's left. But the team knows how to win. Still got plenty of winning players. They got a winning manager. Verlander is going to give them something which is going to help. They got plenty of live arms. And with Bregman and Altuve and Gurriel and Brantley and Tucker, there's enough offense there to win 90 games. Their over-under number in Vegas is 91 or so, 90 and a half. And I think they'll be right around there. And I still make Houston a favorite in the division. I'm going to put the Mariners, I'm going to drop them down a peg. And I know they've made a lot of moves. And I know last year they came within an eyelash of making the postseason and won 90 games. But I'm going to drop Seattle down a spot in the division, partly because the Angels should be better, and partly because there's a bullseye on the Mariners' back, and sometimes teams that try to make that next step brought a lot of guys in too. Robbie Ray, the trade with the Reds. Sometimes when you do that, it takes a little while to get themselves organized. They'd be pretty good. I'm not going to sit there and say they're going to collapse, but I think they'd be somewhere between 87 and 91 wins. That could get them into the playoffs. I think it will be a good race with the Angels and Houston. I think this is a 3-team race. I'll put them 3rd. And I think the Angels are one of the most unique teams and one of the most interesting teams to follow in the American League this year. First off, you have to figure that Trout and Rendon are going to play more than a combined 80 ball games, whatever they played last year. Trout, listen, we know how great he is. We'll see if he can put together a 150-game season. He sounds like he's ready to do that. He has to for the Angels to be good, but let's assume that he has some good health and he can do so. Rendon, of course, hasn't done anything in 2 years, but if he's healthy, he's still one of the best hitters in the sport. He's an excellent defensive third baseman, and let's assume that both of them can play somewhere between 280 games and 300 games. And if you can get those two to do that, they got a good young first baseman. They got Ohtani sitting there. Their offense should be darn good as far as the AL West goes, and that leaves them to their starting rotation. I don't think they have good starters, but I do think they have the potential to have a very good starting rotation in the top of it at least, with Syndergaard, who pitched 1 inning in the last 2 years, and Ohtani. I'm assuming that if you take the Angels and their over-under number is 84.5, if you take them over 84.5, you have to get, roughly 28 starts out of Syndergaard, and you got to get, close to 180 innings out of Ohtani. For all of Ohtani's greatness as a two-way player last year, he didn't pitch an awful lot. They're going to go a six-man rotation. I don't like that, but that's what the Angels are going to do to try to preserve innings from these two at the top. But they have to have Syndergaard and Ohtani be a dynamic 1-2 combo if they're going to sit there and be a big-time team in the American League. I'm going to bank on the fact that maybe Syndergaard can make 27, 28 starts, and maybe Ohtani can make 22 to 25. I'm going to gamble they can get 50 starts out of the two of them, and if they can do that, that's a third of the season. Their bullpen has been fortified. Loop out there as a lefty. He was unhittable for the Mets last year, will be a factor too. You know they're going to score runs. I'm going to make a run at the Angels being the team that we keep an eye on in the American League. I'm going to make a run at the Angels. Over 84.5 is a good play. Seattle, I had them last year here on this show, and, you know, they easily overcame whatever number it was, 72.5, beginning of the year. I'll take a little peg down for Houston. The Astros will still be good. I think the Angels could be the team that challenges them to win the American League West. I'm going to bank on health. I'm going to bank on some fortune with the top two in the rotation. Have a pretty good bullpen. I'll make a run at the Angels.